Hello again and welcome to another Mordy and Glory bolt action video. In today's episode, we shall be asking and answering one simple question. What is the best starter set for bolt action? And with 3rd edition around the corner, slated to be released later this year, it's always a good excuse to try out a new game. And these start sets are a fantastic way for you to do that. And so, without further ado, let's dive right into today's episode. Now, before we take a look at the individual boxes, there are just a couple of points that I need to address. Firstly, these starter sets differ from the starter armies that we have looked at previously in a very important way. They do not focus on one individual faction. Rather, these starter sets tend to contain 2 forces which can fight against each other, and you can get into the game with a friend at the same time, or you can use these as a baseline to collect 2 factions and have an allied army and an Axis army. On top of this, these starter sets contain a whole bunch of useful gaming aids like dice, order dice, markers, and they also contain the 2nd edition rulebook. Now, don't worry, Warlord Games has already come out and said that anyone who buys any of the following starter sets can get a free copy of the 3rd edition book when it comes out. So good guy, Warlord Games, they've got you covered. But with all that said, now let's get into the video proper. And what are some of the criteria that we are going to be looking at? Firstly, we'll be judging each box set on the models that are contained. So we'll go through and look at the content, and then we'll have a look to see if these are newer quality models or maybe some of the older designs. A really big factor is we're going to be judging the balance of the forces. Do we get 2 equal sides in these boxes, or is it going to be an uneven fight? Now, this is very important because obviously these box sets are aimed at 2 people getting into the game at the same time. And lastly, we are going to be looking at bang for buck. Are you getting your money's worth with one of these starter sets? So with all of that said, let's now dive into our first box set. And coming in last place, 3rd of 3, we have Band of Brothers. This start set comes with 24 US airborne troops, 12 German grenadiers, a German half-track, a ruined farmhouse, and the bolt action 2nd edition book, but you can swap that out for the 3rd edition one. And you also get a quick start guide and all the markers and tokens of dice that you need to play. Now, the good news is that all of the models in this box, from the Germans to the Americans to the ruined farmhouse, are plastic. So with just some simple plastic glue, you can get building these things right away. Another great thing is that the troops included on both sides are actually really good kits. The US airborne troops come with everything you need. SMGs, BARs, light machine guns. You can use them as regular GIs, or you can go for the airborne. It's just got a big smorgasbord of weapons, and the US uniforms are quite generic. I've seen US armies that have got the generic soldiers being represented by Rangers. They've got some Marines thrown in there. At the end of the day, if you're wearing your olive drab, US troops can be used as all sorts of different units, which is great, very flexible, and you get good detailed kits. And again, they're in plastic, which is fantastic. With the German Grenadiers, you also get some really good models. German Grenadiers are some of the best troops that you can get for the German army. A, just on the battlefield, they've got good units, they've got good rules. And B, because the German Grenadier sprues come with things like STG assault rifles and Panzerfaust, which are really, really good bits of kit and something that a lot of German players like to include in their armies. So in terms of the quality of the models that we're getting here and the types of unit that we're getting here, it's all coming up good. The reason why this box set is 3rd is because I personally feel like the forces in it are very imbalanced. Yes, the Germans do get a half-track. And yeah, you can give that half-track a light anti-tank gun if you want. But honestly, that half-track is not gonna do anywhere near as much as if you had an extra 12 German grenadiers. 24 US troops basically versus 12 German troops. That's a very, very imbalanced fight. And the half-track won't make up the difference. And you could start trying to make things elite with the German grenadiers going veteran or something. But it just starts getting fiddly and tricky. And straight away, people are going to be throwing these armies down and working out that it's not balanced whatsoever. So I do like the models you get here. I do like the fact that you are getting a vehicle. That is good because it does mean you can sort of try out the vehicle rules, but then only one side is getting a vehicle and the other side is just going to overwhelm them with just an advantage in numbers. So it's a decent box set, and important to note is it is the cheapest box set that you can actually get for starter sets. It's 87 quid from Warlord in comparison to I think 93 for the other ones. And another big thing is advantage is that it's very common. You see the starter set everywhere. It is one of the most produced and widely available ones. It's there's a reason, even though it's third place on my list, there's a reason why this is probably the starter set that most people start with. It's just very, very easily available. So it's got lots of good things going for it, but that imbalance in forces really does hold it back. It'll give you a taste of the game, but you will need to expand the forces if you want to have a nice balanced game. Coming in second place, we have the fantastic Island Assault starter set. This features the US Marines versus the Imperial Japanese Army. Inside the box, you will find 24 US Marines, and you'll also have 24 Imperial Japanese soldiers. There's a Japanese Chiha tank and an M3A1 half-track for the Americans. You also get the bolt action second edition rulebook, which you will be able to swap out for the third edition one, and you have the terrain pieces for the pillbox and the spider holes, which are actually pretty cool. Again, you'll get the quick start guide and reference sheets and all the markers and tokens and dice that you need to play. Once again, all of the models in this set are plastic, so they are very easy to build, put together, and just start playing games with. As for the individual kits, the US Marines are very good. They're a later set of American infantry, so you'll find that the quality of the sculpts and the detail on the plastic models are really good. The airborne ones are fine, but the US Marines, you will notice they're slightly higher quality. Once again, you will get all of the bits you could possibly want. And in fact, the US Marines, I think you get even more than you do with the US Airborne, because you get stuff to make snipers and you also get bazookas. You have all of the bits you could possibly want to build some fantastic US Marine infantry, and these infantry aren't just good for the starter set, they will form a baseline for your US Army. They're very good infantry. Likewise with the Imperial Japanese Army soldiers, I have personally built this infantry set and it is super easy. All of the arms and rifles come molded together, which might sound a bit weird if you've not played Barks before, but trust me, it makes building them super, super easy. And once again, you get all the little bits that you need to make light mortars, anti-tank mines. You can have samurai sword-wielding officers. It's a great kit. So the infantry on both of these sides is going to come with all of the options that you want. And again, form a great foundation if you choose to expand your armies and really get into bolt action. However, where the issue is, and why this isn't in first place, is the vehicles. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, the vehicles are high quality. Japanese Chiha, I built it. It's really easy. It's a great vehicle. The problem is the imbalance in terms of the gameplay. It's better because obviously both sides have got a vehicle now. It's better because both sides have got an equal amount of infantry. But the issue is that the Japanese have a proper tank, and the Chiha is a good tank, and the Americans have a half-track. And that's just not equal. It's just not balanced. So you'll find that if you were to just build these and just put everything on the table, not worry about points, that the Japanese would definitely have an advantage. It's a good box set, but it would be better if one side had the Japanese had the Chiha tank, and then maybe if the Americans had something like a Stuart. One last thing to mention, this box set is based in the Pacific Theatre, which might be considered to be a little bit niche. However, unless you are going to be playing super historically, it's not an issue. You can have the US Marines taking on the Germans if you want to. The game is designed to allow that to happen, so it won't limit it unless you let it limit it. But now we get to our last starter set, and in my humble opinion, one of the best starter sets that Warlord Games has ever made. I'm not just talking like starter sets in comparison to the other ones we've looked at today. I'm talking just generally one of the best box sets that Warlord has ever put together. This is the box set that I recommend everyone starts off with if you and a mate are getting into bolt action together. And even if not, it's a great way to have a foundation for 2 armies. If you're looking to get into bolt action just in a big way, and you know you're going to go Allies and Axis, then this is the box set for you. It is a Gentleman's War. This comes with 24 British 8th Army Infantry and 24 German Afrika Korps Infantry and a Humber armoured car for the Brits and a 222 armoured car for the Germans. And you get the rulebook, the quick start guide, and all the markers and tokens and all that kind of good stuff. And taking a closer gander at those individual kits, they're all really good. Firstly, you've got the British 8th Army, a fantastic plastic infantry kit. I have personally built this one, and it was a dream. It was so good. It just felt fun. It went together easily. I had all the bits that I wanted, from anti-tank rifles to light mortars. I could build lots of sort of engineering things for observers and stuff like that. And I could just build loads of riflemen as well. It felt really good, and the 8th Army Infantry comes with bits to represent not just the British, but you can also represent some of the Indian troops and the Anzac forces as well. So it just comes with everything, and it's highly detailed. It's really, really detailed. You can tell it's a later Warlord kit, one that's a later generation, because the parts go together great and the detail there, and it's just so dynamic. And the same could be said for the German Afrika Korps. You can get Afrika Korps guys wearing pith helmets. You get all the different things you need for the SMGs, like the MP40s. You get anti-tank rifles, you get mortars, you get the famous MG34. Both infantry kits are modern, both infantry kits are detailed, and both infantry kits come with everything you need to build a huge variety of units. But the real biggie, the thing that makes me love this set so much, is the armoured cars. Because finally, we have equal forces on both sides. 24 infantry and armoured car for each team means that if you and your mate build these things up together and just play a battle with them, by and large, you're going to have a balanced game. And if you're having a balanced game, you're not going to feel badsies, and you're going to have a fun game. Also, both of these armoured cars are some of the latest kits to come from Warlord Games. The 222 is a plastic kit that replaced an old resin one, and the Humber armoured car likewise is a plastic kit that has replaced an older resin one. So you are getting, throughout this box, from the infantry to the vehicles, some of the best models that Warlord Games has to offer. And furthermore, these models aren't just good in this self-contained environment. They're a really good foundation and a stepping stone for getting into the wider bolt action game if you find that you enjoy it. Both the British 8th Army and the German Afrika Korps have their own separate starter armies in addition to a Gentleman's War, and they're both a very natural expansion point for newer players. If I was to find one fly in the ointment, one hair in the soup, as it were, this box set is aimed at being a mid-war starter set. That means for the German Afrika Korps, you won't have Panzerfaust and STG assault rifles. And for the British 8th Army, you won't have your Piats. Now, this isn't a major problem, but it is something to just be aware of. But that just about covers it. All of these box sets are pretty good bang for buck. They are some of the cheaper ways of getting into bolt action, and they are going to become chock full of not just models, but also the gaming aids and tools that you need to actually play bolt action. Really, it comes down to preference, I guess. If you want to play the Americans in the late war, you're probably going to want to go with Band of Brothers. If you really want to get into the Japanese Pacific Theatre, Iron Assault is a natural one. And if you just want to try the game out and have a nice balanced gaming experience, if that is what draws you into a tabletop game, then A Gentleman's War is the one for you. They're all pretty good, but Gentleman's War is my personal favourite. Of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. How would you rank these starter armies? And how would you suggest that players expand if they try out the game and they find that they enjoy it? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian Glory Hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Mad Larkin, Marcus Roberts, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video. And of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.